Mrs. Brown's Boys is one of the most chaotic, outrageous, and unexpectedly successful comedies ever to hit TV. It didn't just bend the rules, it tore them up with a laugh and a curse word. For over a decade, fans tuned in for the madness, but behind the laughter, things weren't always as cheerful off-screen. One of the most surprising stories was the quiet disappearance of Rory Cowan, who played the beloved character Rory Brown for over 26 years. There was no farewell, no explanation. He was simply gone. Later, Rory revealed he hadn't been happy during his final years on the show. There was no dramatic fallout or scandal, just the slow realization that the joy was gone. "I got tired of it," he said. It wasn't about money. He admitted he was paid well. It was about no longer feeling fulfilled. Perhaps most shocking to fans was that Rory no longer keeps in touch with anyone from the cast. "It's like any job," he said. For viewers who saw the group as a tight-knit family, that silence was telling. Then came another unexpected exit. Gary Hollywood, who played Dino Doyle for over 20 years, also left suddenly in 2020. At first, reasons were vague: creative differences, personal matters. But it quickly came out that Gary had raised concerns about unequal pay. Insiders claimed that those closest to Brendan O'Carroll, the show's creator, were earning more. After speaking up, Gary's role in upcoming episodes was reportedly reduced. Feeling sidelined and undervalued, he walked away. Brendan publicly called the departure amicable, but rumors of favoritism and behind-the-scenes tension persisted. Gary kept things respectful in interviews, but his message was clear. Sometimes you just know when something's not right anymore. What made Gary Hollywood's departure even harder for fans was how the show handled it. Or rather, didn't. There was no farewell scene, no explanation. One episode he was there, and the next, he wasn't. After 2 decades of laughter, the silence was deafening. But it didn't stop there. Soon after Gary left, his on-screen partner, Damien McKiernan, quietly disappeared too, and his exit was even colder. Damien had the tough job of replacing Rory Cowan as Rory Brown, a character already beloved by fans. Taking over a role so closely tied to another actor was always going to be difficult, and Damien faced mixed reactions from viewers. Some welcomed him, others struggled to accept the change. Still, he remained professional, never trying to copy his predecessor, just doing his best in an impossible situation. But behind the scenes, it wasn't smooth sailing. Damien wasn't offered a new character or fresh arc. He stepped into someone else's shoes and was constantly compared. Then, just months after Gary's controversial exit, Damien was gone too. No official statement, no storyline closure, just gone. Insiders later revealed both Damien and Gary were blindsided when they were excluded from the upcoming Christmas specials. That's when Damien allegedly learned he was being dropped entirely. No explanation, no negotiation, just a quiet, cold dismissal. Unlike Gary, Damien stayed silent. No interviews, no cryptic tweets, nothing. But for someone who'd taken on such a difficult role and stayed loyal through chaos, the way he was let go hit differently. It wasn't just a cast change, it was a dismissal without dignity. And it exposed cracks in a show that had always sold itself as one big happy family. After losing Rory, Dino, and now the second Rory in just a few years, fans couldn't ignore the pattern. Behind the scenes, it became clear that family meant more than just fiction. Brendan O'Carroll, the show's creator and star, had built the cast around his real-life family. His wife, daughter, and son all played major roles, and for a while, it seemed charming. But not everyone felt that way. Some longtime cast members who'd been with the show since its early stage days began to feel left out. Whispers of favoritism and unequal treatment started to circulate. As time went on, those not related to Brendan reportedly found themselves with smaller roles, less input, and less pay, while the O'Carrolls remained central, both on-screen and behind the scenes. No one accused Brendan of being malicious, but the message was clear. If you were in the family, you were in control. If you weren't, you waited and watched as your role faded. One former cast member described it as a velvet rope situation, an unspoken divide between Brendan's inner circle and everyone else. fans started noticing too. The same few faces, Jennifer, Fiona, Danny, were featured more prominently, while others slowly disappeared. Maybe it was creative direction, maybe just coincidence. But when the same pattern keeps repeating, you can't help but wonder what's really going on behind the laughter. The Mrs. Brown's Boys cast was closely tied by family and loyalty, creating a tight but divided production. Brendan O'Carroll called it loyalty, but it felt like nepotism, causing tensions as some longtime actors left. In 2017, the Paradise Papers exposed offshore tax schemes involving key cast members, including Brendan's daughter Fiona, raising serious ethical concerns despite being legal. Fans were outraged. The show, built on humble, working-class charm, suddenly seemed at odds with its stars' financial maneuvering. Brendan stayed mostly silent, which only fueled suspicion. Behind the scenes, morale suffered. Trust fractured. The tax scandal left a stain that, while it faded from headlines, lingered in the minds of fans. Adding to the complexity, Fiona and Martin later divorced, further fracturing the family ties at the show's core. Just as the show tried to move past the scandal, another headline-grabbing conflict emerged in 2018, a fierce battle between Brendan O'Carroll and the BBC over the use of a single, simple word, the F word. This clash would reveal just how much control Brendan held over Mrs. Brown's Boys and how far he was willing to go to keep it. BBC execs wanted to move Mrs. Brown's Boys to a prime 8 p.m. slot to reach a bigger, younger audience, but only if the language was toned down. Brendan O'Carroll refused, famously telling BBC boss Danny Cohen that the show wouldn't change its swearing for a better time. To Brendan, censoring the show was betraying its raw, messy, and vulgar heart. He chose creative control over broader exposure, a decision that divided fans and cast alike. Some saw it as admirable loyalty to the show's spirit. Others worried it limited the show's growth and potential. Behind the scenes, Brendan's tight control left some cast members frustrated and excluded from key decisions affecting their careers and pay. The show's rebellious charm began to fade as ratings slipped and younger viewers lost interest. Live performances grew sloppy, with visible mistakes sparking debate over whether bloopers were real or staged. Brendan insisted the chaos was genuine, but with key cast departures, the chemistry and warmth suffered. Once popular Christmas specials lost their shine, drawing criticism for stale jokes and tired formats. Despite this, Mrs. Brown's Boys still holds a unique charm for many fans, though with cast fractures and public drama, its future remains uncertain. The reasons behind actor exits, money, burnout, or deeper issues are still unclear. If you want more behind-the-scenes scoops on your favorite shows, hit subscribe and stay tuned for more celebrity truths and TV drama.